Da-da-dum, boom, boom. Hey, top of the morning to you. Top of the evening to you. I don't know what time it is. You are. I assume it's either very late or very early. It's got to be one of those. It can't be a regular time. 4 a.m. The perfect time to watch a stream. So, gonna be seeing if I can borrow a little bit from Rengia today. Maybe it's possible. Remember to flip your time. Oh, that's amazing. That's easy. You could easily do that. So I stream like 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. your time. 7 a.m. if you're lucky. Time zones are strange. It's difficult for my brain to comprehend. It's a lot of math that I'm too lazy to do most of the time. So what I do is I just Google it. Daddy Google takes care of me. Are your friends? Yeah, how's it going? How is? Oh, it's like. Oh boy, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. He's making the grab. That looks good. Looks good. I like the little, what's called, the little greens. Those really add to it. Very nice. Hey, Sabrina. Thanks. Good job, Ixie. It's a very nice guard. Way better than Reggie's guard. Got him. Yeah. I have to really work through it to get it to that level of polish, to be honest. It's a lot to do to get it there. It's a lot. But I'm willing to do it. It's just gonna take me forever. Just a little bit of... time. Not so bad. I have a great idea for a painting though. I want to imitate like Dave Rapose's style. Could be like a half study, half painting. I don't know when I'm gonna do it. It could be the next thing. I kind of wanted to do the what's it called next. The monster thing. I think it works really well in the image. But Dave Rapose's style, but my choice of subject matter. The painting, like the old school Dave Raposa. I was just talking to a friend. We were like breaking down the stages of Dave Raposa and his different ways of what's called. We actually came to the conclusion we prefer his inks and his like old school painting style, or at least I do. I prefer the inks and the old school Dave Raposa, and the mix that's sometimes available. I think like the latest Magic the Gathering work he did has that mix going. Like his orc, yeah, like his orc, like his Ninja Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know, the old Dave Raposa work. Really, really old. Stuff that. Anyway, so he used to do like all these fan arts in this very real, hyper realistic style. So I was thinking, why don't I do that? But I get to pick the subject matter. And it's like we basically grew up on the same things, but some of the things that I see missing in that repertoire just a little disconcerting. So I was thinking of doing Sonichu. Chris Chan's Sonichu as what's it called? It's kind of like, you know how they like in the olden days, like a company might make you draw like the Hulk to do like an art test. It's like a really old art test they used to do. You have to draw the Hulk. So because they can't use it, right? They can't use it. It's the idea anyway. So I was thinking of doing Sonichu because it's like, I hope he doesn't sue me. Chris Chan sues Darnus. That'd be kind of funny. Kind of funny. But that could be a really cool theme. Draw something in Dave Raposa's style, like as a study. That could be like a really cool drawing prompt. I was also thinking about that. So, Dave Raposa, old school fan art portfolio. Let's scroll down a little bit so kind of put a picture to what I'm talking about. Because this is like most of it is very new. Gotta scroll a little faster. So like his orc, but even before that, he was doing like these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles paintings, like a lot of them. Witcher 3 did a long time ago. Did I scroll too fast? Yeah, I might have scrolled a little bit too fast. This one was on a cover on of one of those what's called journals. I don't know which one it was. CG Artists or whatever. They used him and they gave him let me see, fan art portfolio. I think I scrolled too fast. Yeah, he's got like Dragon Ball Z characters. I think these are relatively new though. There's the ones I'm talking about are specifically like Power Rangers. Then he has all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then he goes into more like this style, which is cool. But yeah, like this Skeletor, I really like his Skeletor and his what's it called, like really old school rendering. His inks are really good. I really like his inks and like his what's it called, like the original Dave Raposa. Can't find it in his portfolio. Where did they go? Where are they? They're definitely here. You just have to like stop scrolling at the right time. But it's a lot of cool stuff like this. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. He abuses a certain lifestyle, lighting scheme that I'm kind of hoping. And there's a couple of them, so we're gonna just collect them a couple times because he uses very similar lighting for all of them. That he does. Not as much, but close. Yeah, his Ninja Turtles. And like it's a lighting scenario that is very powerful. very good materials and very strong form. That's all you need in a close-up. That's all you got to do, really, I think, to really nail down. The problem is the rendering and the forms and the materials. I think that's, for me, those are the problems that I will have to tackle in order to get close to that. The drawing is good, but it's not like I guess it's not as intricate as the other stuff that he draws, so it's not as like impressive. Because like his inks is like just like absolutely insane. I don't know where his inks are. He has a lot of really strong like drawings. This is one of my favorite pieces. Whatever style this is my favorite out of all of David Propose's work. That type of it's like a mix between his inks and his what's it called, his painting. Here it is again. This flavor, I don't know what it is. I don't want to call it a style, but it's like he has a couple of them that are very distinct, and I really enjoy, because they feature like the intricacy of his inks without giving up what's it called way to the painting, like, because these I feel like look a little better drawn. I really like the drawing for these. The drawing is like, man, that's intense. Where's the other ones? Oh no. You have to. He has a lot of work, so you'd have to scroll through it all. But there's like there's a couple of images like that. The one I just showed you with the inks that are just like phenomenal. I don't think we'll find them here today. This look like it, but there's a couple of them. There's a knight that's like sitting down, and it's got the same intricate drawing applied to all of it, and it's just really good. But I'm hoping to emulate the original David Propose, the OG, what's it called? And my subject matter is gonna be Sonichu. It's a little cartoon, very well known. Maybe you've heard of him. He's kind of a cross between Pikachu and Sonic. Yeah, I'm gonna do this character in that style, and we'll see what we can accomplish with that. So it's kind of like a study. What's it called? We might do this one first because I'm kind of excited to do it. But all right, hold on. Let me just throw this. Oh God, no! So many wires, man. But yeah, I am slow cooking some tenderloin pork right now. Hopefully by the time I finish the stream, it's going to be ready. I've been slow cooking it for about 2 hours already. And the smell, it just fills my whole house. Apartment, whatever you want to call it. It's like a house apart. House apart. It's gonna be weird. We're gonna be moving soon, so gonna have to like adjust, do all kinds of adjusting. We've only been out there for 2 years. Well, we're not moving too far. We're actually gonna move like 20 miles, so it's not too bad. Just a little bit, so that it's closer to her work. When we first moved out here, like we're like, what's it called? We tried to move close to the hospital here. But it's like a little far away. So, all right, hold on. Let me crank this a little bit here. Sorry, the wire keeps just getting in my way. So yeah, when we first moved out here, we tried to move a little close to the hospital, but we didn't really get close enough. So she's moving to a new job. So I'm going with her. So that's gonna be fun. My work is remote, so I don't even have to. I have like 3 jobs now. Well, this isn't really a job since I'm not getting paid, but it's kind of like a thing I do. So it's kind of like three things of work. Well, sometimes I get paid. I guess that's not true. Sometimes I get paid, but all of it is remote. All 3 of them are remote. I just look for remote work. Like whatever I'm doing, it has to be remote. I don't want to leave the house. It's scary out there. Scary out there. So for me, it doesn't really matter where I live as long as it's got good internet and it's a safe neighborhood. That's one I've added over the years. That's right. I've got stocks and I've got a day job and art, stocks, day job, art, stocks, day job. I'm doing okay. Like I'm more bearish right now, so I'm just doing like small gains. Like today I only went up like $100, which is really nice as a paycheck for like sitting around and watching numbers move. And I'm only doing that because like, well, you know, sometimes you just look over and you see them and you're like, ah, yes, I've made a little bit of money here. So yeah, little small investments. You know, I've basically taken most of my money out of the meme stocks, so it's nothing crazy right now. I don't think I'll see like very big gains, but yeah, these are okay undervalued stocks. You know, I'm probably gonna make something on them, and hopefully cryptocurrencies recover, although who knows. I feel like that might not happen at this point. I really don't know. It's very tough. Like anytime it recovers, Elon Musk tweets. So if we could just get Elon to shut the fuck up for like half a month or so, I could get my money back, and maybe I'll get out and do something a little less risky. Well, who knows? Or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'll double down. I really don't know at this point. But yeah, I think that might be the next what's called drawing what's called if you guys think it's cool. If not, we could do the other one because that one's also pretty cool. David Pro's style is pretty neat, and it'll get what's called, I think. And we could all tweet it too. If you guys have Twitter. I don't know if you have Twitter, or maybe not. Maybe just post them up in Discord. That works too. Post them up in Discord. Kind of want to get some nice light on this guy, like he's getting hit by light, if I can. I try to adjust the value to like almost the same, just keep a color so it looks like it blends in. It's very close. It almost blends. Just so we have a little bit of like rest, because there's a lot of shapes to look at, and then it's not like doesn't. It doesn't read well because of that. Like there are parts which don't read well simply because it's too busy. But that's kind of like my thing is that I prefer to make it really busy and then tone it down instead of going the other way. Because it's a lot easier to finish, I feel like. I just like, okay, well, this is good, this is bad, I don't like this, I'm going to take it out. Okay, all good. But yeah, money-wise, I think the stocks have beaten the art gains like 10-fold, 20-fold. So if this is like a hobby that doesn't make any profit, then stocks are definitely like a job. So I think it's a fair categorization there. Although that even if it changes for the year, I like the way the government will define if you have a job or not is if you have income, probably, and then if you get like a W-2 or a 1099 or something. So if you made money on it, then yeah, you're gonna get one of those papers here, and at that point you could say, yeah, I do this thing as for a living. And you know, there are various what's it called, papers you can get. Like one of them is like gambling winnings. The government will track gambling winnings. So as separate, kind of what's called. WLOP joined the NFT game, and a lot of people are complaining of the environmental damage. I really don't care about the environmental damage, but I think you're... Let me pick my words carefully here. You're extremely risk averse if you actually buy into an NFT to make either money or something else. If you think it works like a business model, I think you're extremely risk averse. Like, not even... Is there even environmental damage? Like, yeah, probably. But it's dwarfed by any other, like... What matters is industry, I think. If we're talking about the environment, we're really talking, or environmental damage or hazard, we're really talking about industry. And like, it's always this is the game, really. It's to make common people think that, well, if you just recycled more, or if you weren't such a shit person, if you cared about the planet, this is the constant cat and mouse game. It's, well, if you really cared about the planet, you would just do your fair share and everything else. But that's just like deflection. The polluters are the corporations. They are the industries. Even less the corporations. They're just like industry, like automotive transport. That's the pollution. Like, but it's always the game to make the what's it called? You see, I'm gonna merge this down and make a quick backup layer here for me. Make the average Joe thinks he's responsible for what's it called? For cleaning up the planet. It really isn't. It's the corporations, and it's not that everyone's doing it. It's literally like it's a drop in the bucket compared to something that's actually substantial stress on the environment. Did you know that like 6 cities or six ports create like 85% of the pollution for river water or something like that? Or like it might be either like they pollute the lakes that go out to the ocean. Or at least I don't know. It's a fun fact that I read in an article somewhere, so it must be true. But anyway, I don't remember that exact factoid, but it's something like that. There are actual polluters, and then there's the scapegoats, and unfortunately, we are always going to be the scapegoats no matter what we do. So just take it. Don't what's it called? But don't buy into NFTs. That's so silly. I just find it so silly. I think they just crashed like a couple days ago. Like they're like totally crashed. Or at least I saw like a what's it called? A couple of articles for it, because you know, I was looking at them as like not as a potential investment, but as a potential way of making money, honestly, because like if someone's gonna buy things like that, I mean, maybe I could try selling something like that to them, but I don't really have a product like that, so it's not really gonna work. But if I did have a product like that, I mean, I don't hate the player, hate the game. You know, that's what I would say. The corporation is the dealer, and we're the addict for the product. So the blame goes both ways. Yeah, but like to say that, you know, they manufacture demand for a lot of these things. It's not so simple. Like if advertising stopped existing, you know, for like a couple days, and then people forgot that they needed like 6 types of deodorants and cleansing creams and whatever it is that people are selling to you, that's like totally superfluous. And I don't like this one. I do like Ocean Man though. I don't think, like, look, there's like personal responsibility, gang, and like you just have to take personal responsibility for everything that's going on in the world. I think that's really silly when like there's absolutely nothing you could do about BP spilling 200,000 tons of crude oil into the into the ocean because the front fell off, you know. There's really not much that you can take responsibility there for. Oh, but I drive a car and they're only doing it because of me. They're taking all those risks and they're polluting because of me. Come on now. 1-800, come on now. I think there is space for change within the consumer market. But there's no way it doesn't happen like from a top down. It's just it's impossible. Masks won't stop the pandemic from getting more serious, so I'm not going to wear it. I mean, that's kind of true. Sort of. You're responsible for yourself. If you think like some things, like, yes, you might have like a little bit of input into, you can have input on, you know, your own health and the health of those around you. That's a micro situation. We're talking about macro. So the pandemic actually probably won't really affect it if you start wearing a mask. It really probably won't. In fact, it's hard to say how much of, like, to say clearly that there is a causal relationship between lockdowns and mask mandates. It's difficult. It's difficult to make that claim. You have to go through the proper you have to have the proper statistics and science in order to do that. So I don't think anyone's out there making that claim. They might say that it might, but they're not saying, oh, look, definitive proof we have in this study. Here you go. We've made base case scenario. You have like a small, a very small, what's it called, pilot study that's like, well, again, to do this, you would have to like somehow have groups that aren't wearing the mask. to make the what's called. Again, it's a macro situation for there are different reasons to wear a mask that don't really involve you know doing anything to stop a pandemic. Your own personal safety is like number one. That's why you should wear a mask. It's not to flatten the curve, which is it's kind of a funny one. If people just wore masks and the pandemic would be stopped tomorrow, it's like very, very silly. Highly doubt there's that many people that just won't wear a mask for any reason. And that's why the pandemic keeps going. Environmental stuff is a team game, so can't really blame the corporation and the government. You have to blame the corporation and the government. That's the only people you can blame. Because, again, this is the way it works. We've been taught every day, like, from the television and up, to blame ourselves for pollution in general. But if you actually look at who's causing the pollution, it's not regular consumers. It really isn't. And so if government stands by and doesn't do anything about it, then they're at fault. That's how it works. If you say, hey, my job is to ensure ensure the citizen against fraud, right? That's a good starting point. We're here to protect protect the citizens against fraud, and that means it's to enforce law and order or something like that. And then you don't do that thing, right? Then yeah, we can blame you for not doing that thing. That's your failure. Of course we can blame you. Of course we can. Why can't we? Suffer from obesity and depression, it's all because the mass advertising of foods instead of taking responsibility for myself. There are points where you can say personal responsibility is important. But again, your body weight and the ecological state of the world are two different situations. I don't know how to explain this any more different. If you think some fat woman is the world, then there's a serious problem, a serious disconnect here. So again, you're trying to talk about a micro situation as the macro situation. So who can you blame for your own situation? Probably not a lot of people other than yourself. Yes, there is probably a role in advertisement selling you some sort of lifestyle that you're living out the ethics of. That's how it works. Hey, you want to do drugs and get tattoos and then complain about it and be like, oh, I chain smoked for all those years. There's no one I can blame. Obviously, that's not the case, right? Because if it was, there would be no lawsuits against tobacco companies, right? It just wouldn't happen. There would be no one to say, oh, well, actually, we do blame you. Advertising is pernicious, and honestly, its legality is kind of funny. It all depends on the individual whether environmental concerns are part of our responsibility or not. They are, of course, part of your individual responsibility, but there's hardly anything you can do. Again, there's absolutely nothing you can do from stopping BP dumping, millions of tons of crude oil into the ocean. If there's no oversight, there's nothing you can do about it. How do you take personal responsibility for it? How do you take... There's no way. You can't do it. It's impossible. There's some things that are outside of personal responsibility. It's just that simple. It's not rocket science. It's not complex. It's can you do something about it? And if the answer is no, then that's that. You got to go to the next question, or you got to figure out who can do something about it, and then put pressure on those people. do you ever see Greenpeace just like, I don't know, out there harassing people with cars? Like, that doesn't work. There's no reason to do that. Although they might do that. I don't know. I don't know anything about them or their strategies. But I'm making an assumption here. Just roll with it. You could Google it, probably find I'm wrong. But you have to go for the bigger problems. And you have to go for, change that actually means something. If everyone's recycled an extra can a day, it does nothing. Another thing is with recycling is it all goes into a land dump, so GG on that. I don't know. I'm not an environmentalist. I just see like this is a big picture question, and you're not gonna do anything because you're not part of it. It's like I don't know. What's your role in regulating currency, the value of currency? Like, what are you gonna do? Just not buy a house? Are you gonna take responsibility for the inflation that's coming? Are you gonna? What are you doing to? Oh God. It's funny because the Fed used to have these well, they still have them, but they used to have these like meetings. I think in the 70s there was one where the guy basically says, as he's raising interest rates, he says, Americans will have to just learn to live more, to tighten their belts, basically. And this is like Goliath telling David that he just needs to buck up. It's like again. So I don't know, the cryptocurrency as an environmental factor I think is pretty laughable when compared to any other. Even in the same industry, types of like what do you think the coal power plants required to run the transactions that you use for, I don't know, doing your DoorDash or something, that doesn't have an impact on the environment. Anytime you use a credit card, like everything has a price. Paper currency has a price. There's the trees that you have to chop down. So. The impact of, I think, cryptocurrency is very minimal at this point, and it could get worse. Like, for instance, if cryptocurrency was to get much bigger than it is now, right now we're talking about basically like an industry that's in its infancy. It's still in its infancy. It really is. It could get way bigger than it is now. Way bigger. Then, yeah, you should be able to complain about it. But right now, what are we talking about? Maybe $1 trillion, like, collectively? It's like what the Pentagon shits out on a bad Sunday. Most likely, people just want to shame others just to feel good about themselves. I don't know what, I feel like we're in a culture where you have to like I don't know, it's like resentment pumped up to like a million. Like and I don't think it like it really stops at like success or money. It could be anything. I don't know. It could be like someone cooks better than you or something, and you just really want to shit in their cornflakes, so you make a mean tweet from your anime avatar Twitter account to just like spite them or something. And this is how you get rid of like angst. I don't know. It does seem like no one cared about cryptocurrency for a very long time. No one gave a shit. Just as soon as one fucking guy made a couple $1 million on it overnight, there's like, just look through like Twitter history for like those months. No one said anything about it. Now like every single artist has to pick either you're pro crypto or you're like I mean, you're against cryptocurrency, or you're like some sort of savage. And that's just how it is. You know, you're either one or the other. You're good or you're evil. And like this like sort of team game, it kind of really annoys me, which is why I try not to like pick sides at all. Not because I'm like afraid of picking, you know, I'm offended or something. I have no convictions whatsoever. It's just that it's not fucking worth it to argue with some idiot on Twitter for like an hour, waste of your time, waste of his time. Um, but like a lot of people get their kicks doing things like that now, so it's kind of like that. I don't know. A lot of people are just really holier than thou, and the internet gives them kind of like a support group. It's it's kind of bad. I think it's kind of bad that we have something like that, because like you're incentivizing really immoral behavior, and just I don't know, because it's, you know, it's not so bad when you do something alone, but then you have like this support group behind you that's cheering you on. You have to constantly keep going. You can't just stop, take stock, and be like, oh, you know, I actually don't really care that much about this. I think, yeah, I'm just not that into it. I don't really mind. I can't really do anything about it. But, yeah. Now you're more like a performer, you know? You have to keep performing. Otherwise, like, otherwise they'll go for you, you know? But yeah, I find Twitter arguments to be really a waste of time, so most of the time, if you have any sort of beliefs and you just say them strongly on Twitter, you're gonna have a bad time. There's just no point. There's gonna be someone out there that disagrees, and then you have to like listen to them. Total waste of time. Also really boring. I think for a good portion there, it was kind of exciting and new to just argue with people on the internet, but eventually it just got really old and kind of boring. At least for me. Maybe I did it too much. I was too invested in the meme. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of this like, it's always like there's gonna be a new thing. Just if you wait about, I don't know, for this thing, it's been going on for a little while. Maybe another month. Give it another month. People will forget all about it, and they just won't give a shit about it. You won't see another tweet about it. Say a month is what's called. Hey Siri, remind me in a month to check on NFTs. It's just never gonna happen. Oh god, no, never mind. She's actually doing it. I'll take this out and I'll paint it back in later maybe, but right now just kind of want some space there. But yeah, hopefully we find a new apartment with like some more space in it so that I can like have like a rice cooker, maybe a little backdoor grilling. I'd really enjoy like a small grill. That's like the one thing that I'm really missing about just like moving out, is that we had two grills. We had two grills and I could grill. For God's sakes, I just want to grill, you know? But yeah. I don't know. When I browse, like, I think I'm starting to really cut down on my Twitter time, because it's just like, I'm just kind of over it. Just kind of over it, man. I think I posted a fire tweet though. All those people worried about like an anime book. Oh my god. Like, why? It's like you have nothing else to do. Super Annie, or Kim Jong-ji's publishing company, published a new... I could see the racism. Okay. Come on now. First of all, I don't think that character, like, represents anyone. Like, it really doesn't. I think you have to be really, 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 like, kind of depraved to look at that, like, the character and say, oh yeah, that's me. That's me.jpg. Literally me, right there. I think that's, like, if you really do think that like, character was meant to represent you, I think there's much deeper problems there than what's called. I just don't see it. What about the what about the, like, the Inuit, like the ancient, like, because that's another ancient, like, ancestor type of character. It's like, it's not why aren't those people offended? I just need, I don't know, I just find it kind of funny. I don't really see it. Book refers to Mongolian, where the country is cold and people there are short. Yeah, maybe like ancient Mongolia. Like, again, so it makes a claim about biology and genetics, which is interesting for an art book to do. But it's not an untrue one. It's what was it, the how certain anatomical features are have you know, have a reason for their, maybe even like a, now it looks like a teleological reason, but they actually do have a reason for existing, and a reasonable explanation at that for most of them, or one of them dealing with climate. And can't say it that way. The Dinka people, which is a tribe in Africa, and average height is 6 foot. Yeah, maybe. I don't know exactly. It doesn't really specify. As far as I can tell, it doesn't really specify who exactly they're talking about. But look, if it really was racist, please believe me, it wouldn't be published. And again, this is like a one-off claim in like 700 pages. I believe it's 700. My book was missing 500 when I looked at it. So I don't know exactly. Maybe in those last 200 pages, it wasn't the appendix and glossary as I assume, but rather just more racism. I don't know. It's like it's again, to say something is racist, it has to make a claim that something is, you know, inferior, I think, or superior. At least one of those. I think that is a necessary component. Right now, it's kind of not, because you could just say anything is racist, and you know, that's it doesn't really mean anything at this point. But I really don't see any racism in that book. Kim Jong-ji's not Kim Jong-ji's, but Seo King. I can't say his name. Everything is racist and sexist in 2021. Yeah, kind of. I mean, you could draw a really vague, what's it called, racist tendency or bias. I think against anything really, you could do it. You could get away with it, and then people would be like, "Yeah, this is right." And then whoever did it has to apologize. Doesn't even matter if it's real or not. At this point, you have to apologize. That's how it works. Either that or you lose your job. So, I don't know. I really don't see the harm in that book. There's 2 caricatures. They're not of anyone in particular. This is a book made in Korea. They, obviously there is no cult. This is, very Americanized way of like looking at things, that the images refer to like to an American or something like that, or a modern human. It's silly, because it doesn't, and it's, you have to really victimize yourself to say, yeah, this is me. It's referring to me. This is, it's the, in Korea, they are constantly hating on, this race of people, and they're denigrating them, which isn't the case. It's just not even part of their culture. It's like it's not part of their history. It's just really strange, I think. But I mean, again, we're living in like on the internet, where everything becomes, somehow Americanized. It has to conform to American culture, and it doesn't work. You can't just do that. You can't just graft on American culture to something else and say like, yeah, this guy who's not American was making the same interpretation that I am, and then viewing it through the lens of like Americanism. It's really, really silly to do that, and I think it really has to stop. Either that, or I mean, as far as I understand, the publishers are just laughing. There's no, even if they get like removed from publishing here in America, no one's gonna remove it from Korea. That ship has sailed. The book does go into a lot of detail in biology and reads like a science book and not an art book. There's a lot of there's a lot of deep reading in there. And they have they consulted an anatomist. They consulted a biologist. Like in the foreword for the book, I don't know if I could show you do a little bit of hold on a second here. I think I took a picture of it actually. Let me see. 1 second here. In the foreword of the book, they have a professor of anatomy and developmental biology, like it's like he consulted on this, and he was like, he's okay with it. There are a lot of parts in that book that are like way too in depth, and you don't really need them, but they're kind of interesting and kind of cool. So it's, again, his book isn't really an anatomy book. It has a lot of cool comics. It's kind of funny. There's funny moments. I do have a PDF. I may have a PDF, yeah. It's a funny book. It's not worth $80. In my humble opinion, I don't know. With inflation, perhaps it is now. It's worth whatever someone will pay for it. I wouldn't pay that much for a book. Unfortunately, I just don't have that sort of capital to just like, okay, here's an $80 book. Although, I did take a look at it. So it was kind enough to but I just flipped through it. I didn't really use it for whatever it was. I just took a look at it just to, for the purpose either of criticism or for the purpose of just, but yeah, I'm technically at the crossroads of person that would be interested in this book for the knowledge contained inside, and it's just that I don't know. I read it. It was okay. It was a good book. There's parts of it to really get a use out of it. You got to practice with it. I think I flipped through it in Korean too. I think I might have even seen the imagery that's bad, not good. But I just want to buy. But that's, you see, this is what I'm talking about. It's this sort of marketing. You either appeal to one group or you appeal to another group, and that's how it goes. And I'm kind of like, I'm always kind of like always on the fence for buying something, because it's like I can see when I'm being pandered to and I don't particularly like it. Yeah, it's an interesting book if you have, it's just that I've read every other anatomy book basically. I mean, I could still practice my anatomy, of course, and there's a lot of things to learn, obviously. I don't want to say that, but I just, like, to me, the value in another anatomy book is, lower than for someone who hasn't read, Bridgman, Loomis, and this book actually really goes well with Bridgman, I think, because Bridgman does not go in depth into what exactly he is abstracting, and how to use that book is very kind of hidden in the images. But something like this, where he kind of goes thoroughly into each part. Would be really useful with Bridgman, because like most of I think what I saw from the PDF is most of it was very, very rendered, and it wasn't broken down into the necessary shapes that you need to like conceptualize. So hey, Louis, stop it! Bad cat, Louis. This cat. 1 second, hold on. Okay, I checked on my pork, and it seems to be like breaking up already. So, so I think it's time to just shut it off. Let it sit in the slow cooker for a little bit longer. I might eat it on tacos today, I think, but later on I might switch to something. Maybe like a lavash. Or a naan. Maybe I'll make my own bread, I don't know. Anyway, so I mean, I would recommend checking it out, at least taking a look at it, see if it appeals to you, because it has a lot of really cool drawings. But I don't know if it's like a good, like, instructional,
book because it doesn't. I don't think it focuses enough on breaking apart the shapes. For anyone who's looking to learn anatomy, that's like problem number one. Is it's it's necessary to break up the shapes. And so you can do that. That's like 90% of the problem there. But I think a lot of these people are just really bored. They have nothing to do, and so they attack books. People who accomplish things like writing a book is just so fantastic. And like people who can't do things like that because they're losers, basically, they gotta kind of just, they gotta cope. And the way they cope is sending mean messages. Well, this book isn't actually really good, because it's got like a couple panels which are like in a deeply flawed interpretation where I really have to stretch the definitions and like the intent of the author. They're really racist, but only in like the context of like an American historical perspective of some sort. And it's like, okay, who cares? I think that's like the main thing is what you have to do with these people is just say who cares. I really don't care. I think you're boring. Because that's what they are. They're really boring. They produce nothing, and they want you to care about what they have to say, and just, just let them know that they're boring, and then that's that. The problem is, of course, the support group. It's always there. Even if you tell them they're boring. There's going to be like 2,000 more Slay Queen in the comments, so... Again, it's always like people that don't produce anything, create nothing, can't do anything, have no skills, permanently online, vultures. It's always those types of people. And now they have support groups online comprised of the same type of individual. So, I don't know. It's very boring. It's very boring. Try to celebrate authors, people who create. Try not to focus on useless people. But yeah, I understand they need to go argue to get more internet points for validation. The likes have to keep increasing. Those are rookie numbers, man. Get those numbers up. I don't know. I think there's a serious mental health problem in this country. Worldwide now, anywhere that has like enough internets to go around, there's a very big problem. Some of it is social media based, but it's more like just human nature just cranked up to a 20. That necessity to belong and to be kind of like either unique but maybe not unique, but more of like noteworthy, not unique, noteworthy, I think is the word I'm looking for. Important, noteworthy or important. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of strategies to achieve that importance. But the earlier we start saying things like, "Oh, well, it's really boring. I don't care about this," or just not responding to that sort of thing, and just. But I don't think there's like a way to, actually get these people to stop. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. It's it's like haters gonna hate, just cranked up to 11. How do I incentivize people to stop being pieces of shit on the internet? I don't know, that's kind of impossible. I think it's especially bad in America, though. For some reason, I have this, like, inkling feeling that this is, like, a very America-centric problem. The other countries have, different problems that arose with the internet, but not exactly ours. I think we are very unique in some sense. Which isn't good. It's about the dopamine from the likes and the attention. I mean, there has to be like a positive feedback loop. Otherwise, people would just stop doing it. It's like, I don't know, news covering serial killers, like, constantly. Oh, no, this is really bad, but hey, look at this guy he just murdered and put, like, 3 holes into, and now he's bleeding over the pavement. More at 11, please tune in. And like, oh yeah, but we shouldn't incentivize this behavior. But hey, look, actually, you know what? They just killed another kid at a school. Maybe we should watch that. It's like, I wonder if there's a connection. I wonder if there's a feedback loop going on. I don't know. I'm just saying. Has anyone looked into this? I mean, it's. I don't know. It's incentives, and it's like, if you pick the right side, or maybe if you pick, it's not even about the right side. If you pick a side with sufficient support, because you could do this on either side. It doesn't really matter who you're pandering to. Because you can make a lot of bank. The only thing is, like, if you pander too hard in one direction, you get banned off Twitter. That's like the only thing. But otherwise, it's the same game. It's just being played out. Like, really like a nice shawl there. Maybe like a scarf. Like, oh, this material looks good. I like this. Let's see here. Put it in here, and then I'm just gonna copy some of it. Yeah, I think it's I think it's difficult to break out of those incentives if you're already in it to win it. Very difficult. That's why people take like hiatuses. They literally, you literally can't. You've been like trained to do these things. Like it's unless you literally have no way of doing it, like such as, you know, cold turkey, that you can't, like, you can't stop. It's impossible to stop. Oh, this song's a banger. But yeah, I think the best revenge is just to make a ton of money and try to get away from these people. Live your best life, first of all, and then you don't really even have to worry that they exist. I think that's winning. Kind of hard to do that though. Louis, what's wrong? Louis, what are you doing? Just like, he just made this weird fucking noise. Hold on. Check him. 1 sec. Louis. You crazy cat? Its smell is driving me insane. I just want to eat so bad. It's gonna be like pulled pork, because the meat is basically breaking up in there because it's been slow cooking so long. I just want to taste, man. Just want to taste. Oh, I don't have this as a Oh, let me add it a keybind real quick. Yeah, this is gonna be D. D. This could be S. Fine, whatever. Huh? Wait, what? That's kind of weird. It duplicated it. That's strange. The middle part is still kind of unresolved. I don't know what I want to do there. Maybe something like this. Maybe like a sort of cloth armor. I just checked out the thread on Stonehouse book and it's cringe. Yeah, it's pretty cringe. Like, they're really grasping at those straws. Also, there's Comic Sans text. Yeah, this. If you have you ever wondered what the Comic Sans email person at your workplace does in their off time? They write cringe shit on like Twitter. That's what they do. Yeah, anyone who uses Comic Sans is usually like a sociopath. Tends to be a very specific type of person. Either they know that Comic Sans, there's no way to like interpret Comic Sans that doesn't, you know, have like a humorous connotation or non-serious connotation to it, and they're doing it on purpose. Or they don't know, and I don't know what to call that exactly. I don't know, maybe they haven't tried reading their own text, because it's like, it's impossible to read it without thinking of like just something really, really silly. Even the most serious subject matter, like when put down in Comic Sans, just like it becomes, it just gets interpreted differently. The font is important. I think I want to actually like get rid of this, maybe expand. Imagine getting offended by science. Science is incredibly offensive. Any sort of like appeal to the truth right now should be probably like illegal. Because again, like I just read this post by someone and they were commenting on like a really old like a really old commercial, and they were just putting their own like what's called like this interpretation that couldn't be, you know, accessed during that time because the context of the time, they didn't have these things so prevalent, and it was just like It was just kind of silly. It was very anachronistic. It was like they had no idea what it was like to live in the 90s, and they were just like, yeah, this is actually a nod to this thing that happened 20 years from then, you know? And it's like, it's kind of funny. And then like someone's responding like, hey, this, you're totally ignoring the context here. There's no way this could be the thing. And they just like, well, actually, you know, what matters is my interpretation, and then I don't really even need to consider the context. Let people enjoy things. Or some shit like that. Some like absolute nonsense. And it's like that's kind of the world we live in. It really doesn't matter what's, you know, if there is a true or right, or what is true or right. I don't even think going that far is necessary. Like to say that they're what is true or right is an unnecessary step in the wrong direction, because you kind of get halted at is there something that, you know, is true or right, or is there only interpretation, you know, outside of context. And even I think even Derrida had said ce n'est pas de hors texte. There's nothing outside of the context. So because his whole thing was deconstruction, and like what did those people think in that time, and what does that text actually mean with you know, with those ideas implied. And now it's like, well, let's just ignore what those people meant and just slap on whatever I want. That's the meaning, which is really helpful for anyone who's trying to start like an authoritarian regime, because at that point they could be like, well, it doesn't really matter what the historical context is. It matters is like the interpretation of insert genocide here. Everyone is entitled to be stupid. It's just that some people abuse that, right? Yeah. So I think like the mechanics of we just got to be nice to people until, you know, we can't actually figure out what's true and real anymore. You know, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. It's just pretty sad. Not gonna help us. Not gonna help us win our island back. That much is true. We have lost the island. But yeah, hey, Dyslexic, what's up, dude? How's it going? Just ranting today. Just straight up ranting. No breaks. Lukewarm opinions getting just thrown outside. I don't remember what this thing was. I really don't remember what this thing. Oh, that's his hand. I really don't think that's a good place for a hand. I'm gonna edit it out for now. Very lukewarm opinions. Truth good? Question mark? People on the internet wrong? Question mark. That's my humble opinion. I don't know. We're just having fun. I don't actually want anyone to come away from this with like a serious. It's all good. Yeah, I think so. I think so too. But yeah, it's a nice Monday. Just enjoying the weather right now. And by enjoying the weather, I mean I'm sitting locked up in a air-conditioned room because it's way too hot. It's way too hot. Things are sticking to other things that they shouldn't be sticking to, and it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of mess. lot of mess going on. Probably gonna get rid of all the edges for this guy, or all the shapes need to just kind of like go for a little while. But yeah, it's nice Monday after work. I've got some pork cooking. The slow cooker for pork is actually like one of my favorite ways to cook pork. Because you get all kinds of recipes in there. The only problem is I usually make too much, and then I have to end up eating it all week. So right now I'm probably gonna make like tacos. Kind of want to do more of the people too. We have some stuff going on now. You can really tell. There are people in the background. It's very slowly shaping up. Very slow. Let's start like blending it in a little bit more. Trying to get some semblance of rendering going, and then once I have that, you know, all I have to do is like push, maybe get some of the details back. Right now I have too much stuff, so some of it's got to go. Oh, you know what I wanted to use as a reference? I saved this thing in inspiration because it's really good. Yeah. Kind of redesigned his armor a lot, but I don't see the hat fitting. That's like the only problem. I don't know if I want to. I could try to change it a little bit, and then we'll go from there. I also might make him a female. That might be interesting. We'll try it out and see if it works, and then if it does, then it's good. Borrowing a little bit of the color. Just straight up color sampling. Seeing what I can do with it. If I don't like the design, then I don't like the design. But I think we should try something else. And we could even leave the metal part in. Just make it a little bit more crisp. Maybe too much. Kind of like this transition. I'm not sure about. We'll go back and forth. I have another layer. Yeah, little by little, small changes. Maybe. I don't know if I like this hat design. Do you like to collect collectibles such as Pokemon cards, books, or figurines? I used to collect cards when I was a kid. Don't know how I'm gonna use this just yet, but I will figure out a way. I like the what's it called? Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic the Gathering cards. I used to collect a lot of Marvel cards actually. Still have the Marvel cards. I don't think they're worth anything. All of them are like worthless. Some of the Yu-Gi-Oh cards are actually worth a little bit, but I don't have any buyers. Some of the Pokemon cards are worth a lot, and they're gone. Rest in peace cards. I think I just want to elaborate on the existing design without changing it drastically. I didn't really collect books. Most of my books are digital. I do have like a library though. Some library. Knowledge. That's what that is. Knowledge. I've kind of grown up now. I do think of collection as kind of like something like a, I don't know. It's kind of like a fault almost. It's like you're one of the, it's one, like you're one of those you're trapped by one of those like lower, what's it called? How do you spend your money? That's a great question. I spend a lot of money on food. Rent, food. I buy video games from time to time. Not too much. Not too much. I really like this orange. I kind of want to put it in. Shopping, movies, or whatnot. I don't really. I mean, I'll watch a movie once in a while, but very rarely actually now. All you need is like a Netflix subscription. At this point. I guess the real answer is I don't really spend my money outside of, like, again, rent, food, and I just save it or I invest it. Not a big consumer. Well, I mean, if there was something that was interesting for me to consume, I guess. It's just not, I don't know, I feel like collectors are kind of like mentally ill or something. Not saying it's a bad thing, I don't understand it personally. No, I am saying it's a bad thing, actually. I think it's really bad. I think it's a little crazy. I was reading about whales in MMORPGs. You know, people who spend like a crazy amount of money on like just stupid shit in video games. There's one guy who spent $160,000 on Black Desert Online, and it's one of those games that really screws you. And then he actually bought in. He was like, yeah, I want to play in this game where you can literally buy power. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy all the power. So he spent $160,000. And it's like, it's strange because usually MMORPGs and games like that are, you know, like escapism, or they're commonly held to be escapism. So it's for people who are, you know, don't really have a lot to experience like a wealth fantasy or something like that, something similar. It's like, because you could be the best at something in a virtual environment, you know. So it's kind of like one of those fantasies, which appeals to a lot of people, which is cool. I like the idea of MMORPGs. I mean, I play them, so obviously I'm probably speaking from experience. But it's it's kind of strange. So this is why it's strange. It's because like he makes a ton of money outside, so he's wildly successful outside of money, outside of video games, which is like A lot of times very rare. And so he's usually the people that spend money in video games don't have a lot of money. They're just, regular 9-to-5ers. And just regular old Joe. But this guy is making tons of money, and that's why it's so strange. It's because he's like, the success fantasy doesn't really make sense for him, and so I think that's why, like, people, like, when they see whales, they think it's like it's so, like, just like an anathema. It's because they're kind of like, they have everything, and then they also want to go into like that virtual world where you could spend a lot of time and you could become like the best blacksmith or something. And so now it's so annoying because you're not outcompeted in both arenas now. Not only is like the rich kid, super rich and successful in real life, they're also doing it in your game now, which is kind of annoying. At least I think that's part of the what's called why people hate whales. The other part is because they crush them in PvP, and it's like fucking bullshit that you could spend $10,000 to win at a computer game. But yeah, it could be the other part too. Money is meant to upgrade your life, so there's not much difference between upgrading IRL and upgrading a virtual world. Well, that's the thing, because you never actually get any real benefit from upgrading in a virtual world. Like that person who's spending, that extra $100 every month on, transactions for like, for whatever it is, he could be spending it on, some way of upgrading his life. And there's always, there is always a thing. Like, you could go into, oh, well, I already eat all the sushi I want, or some bullshit like that. But yeah, there is something that you could be spending it on that's not virtual. And, upgrading your life in some way. Buy a rice cooker. I don't know. But it wouldn't be my judgment of what's good. It's just that there is something in real life that's tangible, that has tangible benefits to you that you can spend on. There always is. Even, But air fryer, yeah. I love my air fryer. I'm a big fan. Cuz it's a really easy way to get to like very mid-tier cooking stuff. Because just by adding consistency, just by adding a little bit of consistency, you can do quite a lot for your cooking. Just by adding a little bit of consistency. I'm starting to work on the faces and the expressions now. So it's good. But yeah, it's just like a strange thing for someone to have like so much money and then also be spending like 160 grand in a video game. That's what makes this like noteworthy or newsworthy. The average Joe who spends $200-300 on a video game, which is insane, and for his budget is a lot, never makes the news. It's the weirdo guy that has everything and decides to play video games with all that money. I don't know, it's strange. Don't play pay to win games. That's really stupid. That's the only thing you could get from this. That's the absolute only thing. Because most of them are like it's straight up gambling. It's not even like they're not even trying to hide it. Because you don't actually pay for the items. You don't pay for. That's what makes it so good. Is you don't pay for like the win. You pay for the chance to win. So it's a casino, and that's way more dangerous for like the human psyche. Like you literally can't handle it. What would you do if you won $1 million from whatever? It's a great question. I don't know. I really don't know. What I would do with $1 million? I would invest it in probably either very safe mutual funds or what's it called? Indexes, very safe stuff, and then I just collect a salary of like 60 grand and do nothing for the rest of my life. And nothing, I mean, like, I would not do any regular jobs ever again. I would only be, painting. I would only be doing like really cool shit that, excites me for work. I would only be doing like but yeah, I would invest in myself. I don't know. I don't have any like problems. I don't have a bank crushing issue. My like maintenance cost is like super low. I spend almost no money. My biggest travel more. I mean, like with the 60 grand, I can travel more. Yeah, I would definitely invest it in such a way that makes me more money. What are you gonna do with money? I'm gonna make more money. That's my answer. The more money I get, the more I try to push it. Because like before, I wasn't making a lot, and then as soon as I got just barely enough to sustain past like an emergency amount, which I think is necessary for anybody to have, just have like, a little bit in your bank account just in case your shit goes sour, so you have like maybe a year or two to just sort that shit out. So once I push past that, I'm just trying to make my money work for me so I don't have to work. That's probably what I want. I want to do a lot of hard work so I don't have to work so hard, You know what I mean? Know what I mean? I think it'd be too many projects coming in. Huh? What do you mean? I love this song. I don't know, something about that drop. Civilization. Did my message not send? Oh, did you get like auto-modded? Did you say something racist again? Ryuji, you can't be racist in this chat. Oh, my sister works 12 hours a day. That sucks. I'm in kind of a similar boat. And I try to do all of it. Investing takes time too. I'm constantly watching my stocks. No days off. Painting and looking at graph isn't work. Shut up. Yes, it is. Painting and looking at graph is real work, you know? It's that. It's funny that they have to put real in front of it. Like there's a you have to overcome. Painting is work. There's no such thing as real work. It's all work. Unless you're trying to say, like, well, through the lens of the steel worker or the mine shaft person, nothing is real work. And in that case, I'm betting your sister's not a mine shaft worker or a lumberjack. So, sorry, no longer real work. Not real work. But yeah, I don't think anything outside of manual labor isn't a real job is like a very silly boomerism. The boomers love to say it though. I don't know why, but they love to say it. Especially boomers who haven't really worked that much. Unless you've been to Nam, you're not a real man. You know, it's just like it's very, very silly boomerisms. I kind of want to make her a little ugly. Spoiler, she's already ugly. Painting is work. Especially at high levels, it's the hardest work. Any sort of like thing that you do that pushes you to your limits is work. In 2021, making money is considered work, I guess. I think I don't like that definition either. Because, like, what do we tell anyone who doesn't make money doing a very necessary thing that they're not working? Like, for instance, everyone wants to go with mothers, but we're going to go with Wikipedia workers. Like, imagine a world where Wikipedia wasn't a thing. The most important work of our time, you know, cataloging and creating a, what's it called? An encyclopedia for the whole race of, you know, of humans. It's incredibly important and absolutely unpaid. And if you say that that's not work, I'm gonna have to disagree. Not real work. You don't even get paid for it. I don't know. I think there's a lot of like explanations like of value and some sort of like idea about like what labor is in economics. So you could go to that. You could go to like the labor theory of value or something. Like, what is real work? I don't know. It's what I don't want to do is in Soviet Russia we have a term for this. It's called krutить gaiky, and that is to turn the little what's it called, the little things around the what do you call them, with a wrench. I don't know, like to turn the thing to wrench things, I guess. But it's a very menial exercise that does almost nothing, and just exists to, it's a job, basically. I don't want to do that forever. I have to, but well, I don't want to. The truest definition of labor, the shit that you don't want to do, that's labor. Everything else is just fun. The only legitimate work is a factory labor job, and yeah, exactly. This is everything else is just people having a time of their lives, man. I don't know. I have a pretty good day job right now that, it's very fine. It's a lot better than what I used to do. A lot of stuff I used to do. So, but if I had $1 million, you bet your ass that I would find a way to make that million into two. Just, here's a $1 billion idea. Just bet against Wall Street bets. Just whatever they say, just put the inverse in. Like whenever they yell, because there are a lot of people that are just like, I think crazy, and they'll post there and they'll be like, I just put my life savings into this thing. And what you do is, you inverse, and you don't want to do it with like meme stocks. Meme stocks are like an anomaly when it comes to Wall Street bets. You want to do it with something that's a little bit more YOLO. You want to find out one crazy guy in that thread by himself that says something that doesn't even make any sense, and then bet against him, because everyone else found him too, and they're betting against him, and so he's gonna have a bad time. Alright, so I've got my guards facing a little bit. Some of these faces are definitely gonna need work, like this guy's face. Only problem is I think the face is a little bit too small now. But make a backup here in case I want to redo. Wait, what? Why is this? Oh, is it grouped? Weird. Okay. I want to make her expression as like happy to be here as possible. She's got a stronger jawline than you. Still looks like female, right? Though, still looks like a female though. That's the goal, cause she's a guard, baby. Could eventually like cut her down, but I don't know. I feel like if she was cute, it wouldn't really. She just has to be like annoyed, like her face has to like be like, oh my god, another one of these fucking people come to my bazaar to steal the oranges. I'm so tired of this. Please just go the other way. You know what I'm drawing? Hold on. My favorite image in the world. This is literally me. This is my... She looks like she's about to call the manager. She is the manager, okay? But yeah, I'm running out of juice. I'm succumbing to the need to eat. The hunger, it's overwhelming. I don't think I ate enough today. I don't think I ate much at all, in fact. Let me see. I ate a couple breakfast tacos, and then it's just like that's it for the day. So we're gonna take another look at this. And then It's her nose, by the way, that makes her look like a fucking brute. If I make her nose really cute, she'd look like... I should probably just, like, cut it down, like, everywhere. She'd look way cuter. Well, we'll experiment with her face. I think right now she's very long-faced. 2. Could maybe. I don't know if I want to make her cute. We'll see. It's like the first detailed part of this image. Everything else is like totally what's it called? Well, the bird too. The bird is also like detailed. I worry about the sides though, like the size of her head is a little small, especially in contrast with how big anything else is. But yeah, well, I'll fix that when I get to it. I do think her head is probably gonna need to be a little bit bigger. We'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna go eat my pork. Thank you guys for coming. We did get some work done today. Let me just flip it back just to see. It's mostly been detailing. A little bit of shapes being put in. Couple of things here and there. Probably gonna erase this down a little bit real quick so I don't forget. But yeah, see ya.